Hello, my name's Monique, and so our topic today is Are You Ready? I'm going to talk about how ready or unready I was for my current job, which is a reporter and a presenter on a show called Hungry Beast on the ABC. I've been talking to some people today, and people go, "What's that?" I've never heard of it, which is awesome. It's a news and current affairs show on the ABC on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock, but it's not your traditional kind of news and current affairs show. We look at topical issues from very different perspectives. So we've got like a comedy team and a factual team and a what the fuck team. And if we're looking at a particular issue, whether it's global warming or unemployment or whatever, everyone approaches these issues from different perspectives, which results in a very schizophrenic show and confuses a lot of old people, including my grandma, who hates it. But we find that the show is quite popular amongst younger people who are used to getting a lot of their content and information online, where you might be watching some random funny clip on YouTube and then you'll flick to the Sydney Morning Herald website and read something really serious. So our minds are used to kind of darting around between different genres. Anyway, so I haven't always been in this position, obviously, and I want to talk about how I kind of got here and how my world changed. About 8 months ago, I was living in Melbourne. I'm from Melbourne, working for a big production company called Fremantle Media, which is one of the biggest ones in the world. And I had a really cool gig there. I'd been working in program development, which is like a think tank coming up with new TV shows. So it's coming up with reality shows, game shows, docos, crazy stuff. And then I was also doing some digital stuff for them. So they wanted to expand out of TV and create content for online platforms too. So I was making behind the scenes shit for Neighbours, style tips for Project Runway, as well as some newer standalone concepts that weren't attached to a TV show. So why did I leave that awesome world and then come to Sydney? Because something inside me said that I wasn't completely challenged with what I was doing. I'd been doing it for quite a while, and I needed something new. So I was reading the Music Street Press one day, and I saw an ad that Andrew Denton's production company and the ABC were looking for a team of young people to create this new TV show about news that really stirred shit up, that didn't sort of follow the rules of the 7 o'clock news or a current affair or any of that stuff, that really reinvented news. And I thought, this sounds right. But was I ready to sacrifice my job and my familiarity? I've got my girlfriend in Melbourne, I've got my family, very kind of good life. So anyway, I applied for the job, came up with all of these different ideas as to how I'd approach news differently, and I managed to make the short list of people. There were thousands of applicants and stuff, and I got shortlisted. So I'm told, okay, I've got an interview. I was applying for the positions of reporter and a web content producer, because it was like a TV show and a website, so there was cross-platform stuff as well. The only preparation I was told to do for the interview was to be across the news the 2 days before the interview. So I thought, am I ready for that? I can do that. You know, I can read the paper, whatever. So I went to this interview and pitched a bunch of ideas of stories and how I'd tell them differently, kind of. You know, there was one example, I'd read a story in the paper that they were trying to introduce cultural diversity dolls into primary schools to teach kids about, you know, racism and cultural diversity and stuff like that. And I thought, don't do that. Take these bloody dolls into retirement villages. Old farts are more racist than little kids these days. So that was kind of my twist, and they liked that. And I thought, cool, I'm acing this interview. And then they completely turned it on its head. It became the interview from hell. I had to... I wasn't prepared for it, but I had to go and read this auto cue on carbon trading. I thought, this is kind of weird. Yes, I can read, I can do that. And then the auto cue fails, and they're like, okay, fill for 5 minutes on carbon trading. I was like, what the fuck? Like, honestly, I spoke for about 30 seconds on the topic because I knew a little bit about it, and then I just kind of, that's all I have to say. And I go, no, keep going. This is live. You have to keep going. It's like, shit. So I started talking about my hobbies, and I do boxing. So I said, okay, this is what I do. I'm going to teach you how to block a punch. So I started teaching Andrew Denton and 4 other series producers how to block a punch in a fight, and they were encouraging me, going, this is great, keep going, keep going. I'm like, it's not really carbon trading, but all right. And there was a couple of other challenges, and I thought, all right, cool, it must be over by now. Then came the final thing. I was taken into a room by myself, and I had 50 minutes to create a 3-minute video on anything I wanted. And this was like an ABC props department, so there's bloody garden gnomes over here and newspapers on the floor, camera over there, light over there. Thinking, what do I do? So running on adrenaline, I kind of made a story that was responding to this thing that had been in the news. These kids had posted a rap song on MySpace about a crime they'd gotten away with. they'd assaulted some girl and they kind of bragged about it through this rap song. So I thought, all right, how am I going to approach this? Urban justice style. These kids just did a little bit of juvie, but they were bragging how chilled that was. I'm going to put them up against the rest of the country in a rap battle. So urban justice style will speak to them on their language. So I've got, you know, garden gnomes pretending to be 50 Cent and Hilltop Hoods to illustrate my point. Anyway, so there was no way I could have been ready for that. So I think the point of what I want to say to anyone, no matter what goal you're setting out to achieve, be open to change and be open to things that are thrown at you, so that you be aware that sometimes you have to think on your feet. Anyway, after all of that, I did get the job initially as a web content producer, which was cool, but then when we got together, the job descriptions were kind of torn up and everyone was multi-skilled and doing everything. So I didn't necessarily set out to be doing what I am today, but because I was sort of open to all the twists and turns along the way, this is where I ended up, and it's better than what I initially planned for. So thank you.
Thanks, Monique. Our next fast